Sarah Fitzpatrick says she spoke to more than 24 people, including current and former FBI officials. Her version of the story makes it sound like Patel was blacked out more than the president's name in the...
Smart people don't like me, you know, and they don't like what we talk about, but he's become radicalized. So many things have been learned about him so quickly. He's become totally radicalized and crazy, and it must have been traumatic because the parents are concerned.
What actually happens when Jimmy Kimmel starts replaying political promises like receipts being scanned one by one? Suddenly, those confident statements don't sound so solid anymore. Every explanation opens the door to even more questions instead of clearing anything up. And the interesting part is, he didn't even need to create anything new. The internet already had everything. All he did was put it together and let the truth speak for itself.
That's right. He posted, he begins with, Pope Leo is weak on crime. And I should just stop right there because, seriously, when I read this, I couldn't stop laughing. I I had to take a break 6 words into it.
Why are you fighting with the Pope? And are you worried it's upsetting your...
No, I don't. I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand that. Very simple. I have nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all the way. I like his brother, Louis.
Before we go any further, make sure you don't miss this, because what's coming next is something people are still trying to process. It all started with a bill about endangered species, which already sounds ironic in today's politics. And somehow, on Earth Day, lawmakers were preparing to weaken protections for animals that can't defend themselves. And that's where things start to feel really strange.
Republicans in the House today, they were supposed to have a vote on a bill that would narrow protections for endangered species. On Earth Day, they were doing this. Fortunately, the vote was postponed. We will kill the turtles on the Flag Day instead. But this planet is home to at least 8 million different species. Did you know that, Guillermo?
No, I did not.
And some scientists believe the true number could be more than 1 trillion. There is so much to learn about our animal friends, and in studying them...
The vote was delayed, which honestly might be the closest thing to relief wildlife has seen in a while. But that delay raised a bigger question that didn't go away. When did protecting the planet become optional? And more importantly, who actually benefits when that responsibility quietly disappears?
Syracuse University for the unveiling of a portrait, which I forgot he went to Syracuse. When I think of the Orangeman, I only think of Trump now. But Biden gave a shout out during the speech to Jeffrey Scruggs, the chairman of the board of trustees at Syracuse, who he believes bears a strong resemblance to one of his former co-workers.
And by the way, I always want to turn around one guy and say, Barack, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
There are around 8 million known species on Earth, and scientists believe the real number could be much higher. Which means, while we're still discovering new life, we're also finding new ways to make survival harder for it. And that contradiction is hard to ignore.
Researchers from Australia and Sweden are doing a study about drug pollution in the water, and they found that salmon that are exposed to cocaine swim nearly twice as far as those that do not have a coke problem. The study found that the cocaine salmon swim around 20% faster, and also they never shut up. And well, I want to know.
Things get even more surreal when you look at what researchers are finding today. In places like Australia and Sweden, scientists are now studying how drug pollution is affecting wildlife. And yes, it sounds unbelievable, but it's real. Fish exposed to substances like cocaine started behaving differently, swimming faster and farther. And it raises a disturbing thought. Humans might be the only species capable of creating a problem like this, and then acting surprised by the results.
Laugh because it's so nuts. The whole post is just nuts. You know, the Pope's brother, we learned during the poping process, voted for Trump. So Trump wrote, I like his brother Louis much better than I like him because Louis is all MAGA. He gets it and Leo doesn't. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be Pope and was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with.
What started as simple accusations quickly turned into a full-blown spectacle. Not just because of what was being said, but because of how strongly it was denied. At one point, even a basic technical issue turned into a major moment in the story. And it raises a question. If something isn't true, why does it keep showing up again and again in serious discussions?
That a federal judge dismissed the defamation lawsuit Patel filed against a former FBI agent who said he has been, quote, visible at nightclubs far more than he has been on the 7th floor of the Hoover building where they work. One of the allegations in the story is that Patel's been so worried about losing his job. Around 2 weeks ago, he had some trouble logging into his computer and freaked out because he assumed he'd been fired and they locked him out. The article said he called at least 9 people to tell him he had been let go. Then turned out it was an IT issue and he got...
At the same time, another moment grabbed attention when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made bold claims during a hearing. At first, it sounded impressive, but the moment people looked closer, the numbers just didn't add up. What could have been a strong statement quickly turned into confusion and even disbelief.
The portrait unveiling, President Biden made a speech, and what he said took a lot of people there by surprise.
I'm staying in the race.
Maybe run for the governor of California. It's wide open. We are now on week 7 of the war. Trump won 6 weeks ago, and day 2 of Hormuzapalooza. Yesterday, Trump decided to blockade the blockade around the Strait of Hormuz, which right now is a lot like his colon, fully obstructed with no movement.
The story doesn't move forward in a straight line. It keeps resetting itself. Every time it feels like there's a clear direction, something changes again. And even outside politics, this pattern shows up in unexpected places, where people start looking for answers, even when none of them really make sense.
So Patel angrily denied that story, and he proved that the old adage, the best way to address rumors of erratic behavior is to hold an even more erratic press conference.
Did you communicate with anyone that you thought you were fired after you were unable to log into?
The problem with you and your report, don't cut me off. You asked the question.
Straightforward question.
The problem with you and your baseless reporting is that is an absolute lie.
Straightforward question. Did you talk to anybody about whether you thought
The
you were
simple answer to your question is you are lying. I was never locked out.
When you step back and look at everything together, a bigger picture starts to form. It becomes harder to separate what's serious from what feels like satire, because the reality itself starts to sound like something that shouldn't be real, but somehow is.
It's a compliment. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Here you go. You know that white smoke you see when they pick it? He couldn't help. He had to blow it right up his own ass. And he insulted the Pope on a Sunday. We have a fight between the president and the Pope. The world has become a real-life episode of South Park.
Attack Pope Leo on Truth Social.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime.
By the time everything settles, if it ever does, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about one moment or one statement. It's about how quickly the unbelievable has started to feel normal. And that shift is what makes this entire story so unsettling.
Kennedy testified before 2 Senate committees today. He got a grilling from Republicans and Democrats, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, who cut him like a raccoon penis.
He claims that Trump RX has reduced prices by as much as 600%. 600%, which I think means companies should be paying you to take their drugs.
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage, if you have a $600 truck and you reduce it to 10.
When someone keeps repeating that everything is finished and under control, but continues talking about it weeks later, you don't really need to add anything. The story begins to explain itself. And that's where the real impact hits.
Pope have to do with crime. He's not Batman, he's the Pope. This is what happens when you sell Bibles instead of reading them. And then, oh, but wait. Less than an hour after that, he posts an AI-generated image of himself as Jesus. Now, this is an absolutely bananas thing for anyone to post, let alone the president. But let's go through it because maybe we're missing something here. Okay, the first problem I see is his...
The effects didn't stay limited to one place. They started spreading into economies, industries, and everyday life. And suddenly, those earlier promises of quick solutions didn't match the reality people were seeing.
You have to understand, President Trump has a different way of calculating from the rest of it. Who are you going to believe, him or math? Have you ever bankrupted a casino? I don't think so. Now, the actual math is 98%, not 600%, but let's not get caught up in semantics. Let's just be quiet and listen to Robert Kennedy breathe.
Among the many that you described in your testimony. In that context, in your testimony, you identified...
What makes all of this even more interesting is the confidence behind it. Statements are delivered with certainty, even when the facts don't fully support them. And that creates a gap between belief and reality that keeps getting wider.
Well, you know what? In fairness... nobody ever said this was going to be easy. Oh, wait. He did say it would be easy. But if the Iranians come back to the table, J.D. Vance is expected to lead the next round of negotiations because he did such a good job the first time. If not, Trump says our military is locked and loaded. That's right. The troops are locked and Pete Hegseth is loaded. So look out. We also got an update on the other war being waged in the Middle East between...
As everything continues, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Each moment builds on the last, creating a cycle that keeps repeating itself. And the more it continues, the harder it becomes to tell where reality ends and performance begins.